Hello, everybody, and I would like you to remember that if putting a little extra food away is a mistake, then at least it's a mistake you can eat. And I think that's a pretty good mistake, personally, myself. I've made that mistake most of my adult life, putting a little extra food away for hard times. Because I learned at a very young adult life that everybody around me financially could be doing perfectly okay, and even above okay. But me, I struggled. I lost a job, the factory closed down, I didn't have a paycheck coming in, and groceries was a real issue. And I learned real quick if I put a little bit away to get me through, then I wouldn't have such a problem. I would have a mistake I could eat. And so I started doing that sort of thing. And that's what I would like to share with all of you is things that we can do to stretch our food, stretch our budget so that we can feed more people. Things that I feel are cheaper that will help you to get through hard times because we all can hit a depression in our own home. While everybody else may be doing great, our transmission on our car could go out, we could get sick and not be able to work, a factory could close down. So having extra on hand will help get you through those hard times. I'm sure a lot of you saw on the news that the long lines around Thanksgiving of people that had nothing to eat. Well, I didn't have to worry about that because, if you have a freezer, you can always get your turkey, your ham, whatever you want to cook, way before Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you don't have to worry about what are you going to eat. You can always pick up your extra things that whatever you're going to make for your dinner throughout the year for those special occasions, and you have it on hand so that if something happens and you don't have the money during the hard times, you have the food to make that special dinner, which, helps the family not to feel so deprived of, considering that you're in a bad situation. So that's what I'm trying to do in this channel is to help you to get through and to show you things that you can do that you may not know that you could do. Now, some of you may know, but there will be some videos that you're like, oh, I never thought of doing that. Didn't know you could do that. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish here, is a better way of life for yourself. I personally don't have a lot of money. I don't stockpile. I couldn't afford it even if I wanted to. I just keep a little extra for hard times. You may decide that that's what you want to do and that's the route that you want to go. That's okay. But I personally, I couldn't afford it even if I wanted to. I'm far from being what I call well off enough that I could afford to stockpile or even afford to buy, those prepared meals where you can feed a family of 4 for a week. I couldn't even afford one of those buckets. I have to depend on the good old-fashioned way, what my grandparents did, or other people that I know, things that they did to help get me through hard times. What I want to try to do in all the videos that I'm going to be putting out is show you ways of making your food stretch, that if you think you've got a 2 or 3 month supply of food, that you can turn it maybe into a 6-month supply of food. Good idea, if you can stretch it further, that you can do that and help your family get through a longer length of time if something goes wrong. Which, from the looks of it, I think a lot of things are going to go wrong. But that's, I don't like to get into politics. There's 2 topics I don't like to really talk about, and that's politics and religion. It just causes a lot of fighting, and you kind of lose what you're trying to say. And I want for people to learn. And one thing I'm going to talk about, and it's the first video I want to do, and that is on eggs. Now, there is a book out there that talks about a really good way to preserve eggs for 6 months or so, 8 months. And it's dipping them in warmed, and I'm not going to go into it, hot or warm, mineral oil, and, then you set them on a rack and the oil comes off. Because I don't think it's necessary to do that, because when I was growing up, my grandmother had 2 crispers full of eggs from her chickens. And she ate on them for months until the next year, until they laid eggs again. And she taught me that. I used to go over there and eat eggs, and I never got sick from them. And she had crispers full of dozen after dozen after dozen of eggs. And I know she was eating on those eggs for 3 and 4 months. And when she didn't have chickens, she would go into the store and she would buy herself dozens and dozens and dozens of eggs and put them in her crispers. Now, she kept those eggs for 5 to 6 months in her refrigerator and ate them and never had a problem. I want to share that with you because eggs are still available at the store, and you might want to consider getting yourself several dozens of eggs and putting them away in the crispers in your refrigerator because they still stay good. I do it all the time, and I eat the eggs for months, and I've never had a problem. Well, God bless.